There are places where true cowboys still work the land. Lands that have been in their families for generations. This is one of those places. Today is branding day at the Berg Ranch in Nevada's remote Big Smoky Valley. Skitterish horses need to be caught and saddled before the cows and their calves can be gathered. Jim Berg has lived and ranched here in Big Smoky Valley all his life. Every rancher looks forward to branding day each spring, even though it has its challenges.
I guess you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, don't fall off.
He's recruited Berg family members and neighbors to help with the task.
In a minute, you and I'll go up there, and we got to dig a fire pit.
Okay.
And then got to put that panel up, and also we got to bring the wood over.
Okay.
You better get going. Them guys are saddling.
Will you get out of my way so I can get out there, please?
Well, you got the whole damn ranch.
Jim's son Danny will follow his father's direction today.
Go gather the cows.
But that isn't always the case.
My dad, whatever he says, goes, but only on his operation. I have 300 head of cows, but my dad has no say whatsoever. In fact, I won't let him because he'll screw them up. But no, everybody is in charge of their own cows 100%.
These cows are poor. They went through, we got one of the worst droughts I've ever seen. These cows are thin. Okay, I'll bring the pickup in.
My dad and Kenny are highly respected. Their opinion, everything is highly respected. And they are, in a sense, in charge, but not in charge.
While most Bergs still live in Big Smoky Valley, others, like Ken's daughter Kendra, have traveled nearly 1,000 miles from Wyoming to be part of the Bergs' spring branding ritual. Even today, wood fires still heat the branding irons. Even today, calves need to be roped.
Good shot, Clay. D4.
Brandon is like signing your check. It belongs to you, and if you run with other people, you want to be able to identify your cow. So we brand, but all the irons are really different. Then when we go to ship in the fall, you know that's your calf. There's 8 different diseases that we vaccinate for. The shot we give these calves, a lot of people are different. I give what they call 8-way. It's 8 different diseases. Black leg is the main one, and then the other ones, I'm not sure what the hell they are.
The Berg cattle spend most of their life out on the open range, but today, the calves will have a few rough minutes as they're branded, vaccinated, and the males castrated.
For one thing, when they go into the feed yard, they're a little quieter, more docile. Plus, they haven't got something else on their mind, like the bull calves got something. They ride each other around, what have you. They got other things on their mind rather than eating.
Good shot. What time do you get up?
They said 8. No, I got cows to feed, horses to feed.
Oh.
To take care of.
Always some excuse. Ah.
You got to put that iron in the right place because Anna gets pissed.
Anybody who brings in one hind leg should owe a beer.
People just get a little carried away on the rope, and I got to outdo this one or outdo that one, and I just want to brand it. I just want to get my calf done, and that's it. Oh, he roped the wrong one. Oh, I didn't know that. Come on.
That's a six-pack.
It's more of a party than a branding. It's just kind of, the branding is the excuse to get everybody together. Ty was roping with a broken, tore-off finger, despite the fact that he was told not to.
I bet that was your finger's fault.
You can't not rope, though. It's it's one of the funner things you'll ever do in your life.
The camera was off, wasn't it?
Actually, I love to rope, and being with the rest of the crew there, being a part of it. Particularly if they're not my cattle, I don't have to worry about feeding them, and buying hay and that sort of thing. Forgive me, Jim, but you'll be 75 in August, and he's just tough. He complains not about pain, and he feels it. I mean, his bones hurt, but he's tough. I'm probably a little weaker than that, but I expect to get tough when I grow up.
Luckily, the branding was finished before the soaking rain could put the fire out.
Because it's raining. Good Lord. You're done. Anyway, we're through.
Something warm? Something warm. Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Every Berg I know is bullheaded, stubborn, independent. Nobody tells them what to do, and yet we still all come together. And I have no idea why we get along. I seriously don't. I mean, we don't make a point to get along. I mean, we don't make no point to get along. It just works out.
Jack Daniel's honey is good.
Oh, I like it.
Me too.
But we gotta take some of that with us tomorrow.
Not much
And
after
beer.
I'm thrown it.
And beer.
Don't put the damn thing on and shut up.
And stay on your horse.
And stay on your horse.
You only get to talk to like me like once every day.
That's enough.
How often do you have a drink with that skinny?
Pretty often.
About every other day.
Pretty often. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Often enough to know where this all leads.
You're going to jail.
Well, she got so mad at me because she was at the wine glass.
80 miles southeast of Big Smoky Valley is the Fellini Ranch. Ken's son Ty, with his wife Anna, carry on the duties of her family's vast ranch, which has been in operation for over 140 years. The ranch, like many in the West, has been challenged over the years by government regulation and landmark litigation. Anna's family, though, has fought to maintain their way of life and, ironically, the freedom to continue producing food for the nation.
The rub out here with us is that my family in this ranch, I mean, this very spot predates the BLM by almost 60 years. So it's really difficult when you're trying, especially for my grandfather, running a business, came in, did all the right things, worked with the state, and then all of a sudden here comes the Bureau of Land Management, established in 1932, and now they're in charge. Now they're in charge of you.
One of many current issues is the overpopulation of horse herds, which often dominate areas of the range, reducing forage for wildlife and cattle.
The horse population on this place was over 2,200 head. In perspective, we run an average of 1,800, between 1,800 and 2,200 head of cattle. Well, we were doubled as far as utilization goes with the horses at one point. We were either going to go out of business because there was no forage available for either the cattle or the horses, or we were going to spend our last dime, and we did, fighting it, and you don't get compensation back for that. You lose no matter what. You may gain your allotment back, but you've lost $800,000.
The BLM by law is supposed to control the horses, keep them at a certain number. There's certain areas where there's supposed to be this many horses. And for 40 some years, they've disregarded that. So now the numbers are so high that they're destroying the land. Wherever them horses graze, they graze there year round. They stomp out the springs are just stomped out because they're there in huge numbers. There's no vegetation left. They made my dad pull his cows out of Morse Creek because the horses had destroyed everything. Well, why should my dad pull his cows out if they're not going to pull the horses out? That spring is owned by that rancher. That's his private property. Yet the horses get to use it. That doesn't sit well. Why don't you go buy a car and then I'll come use it and we'll call it good.
Every day you get out of bed, you're breaking some policy. You're breaking some law. And I'm serious. If you look at everything we do on a day-to-day basis, every one of us is breaking some law or some policy that has been enacted by Washington. And at what point is that going to break America? When does it become too costly to raise alfalfa? When does it become too costly to raise a cow?
What if you don't have time? What if you don't have the finances to do that and you're an easy target? And unfortunately, so many of these ranchers have gone under because they don't have those resources available or to them to make the fight. We get a lot of ranchers, smaller ranchers, and you'll hear them say, don't rock the boat. And my advice to them is if you don't want to rock the boat, then you're just going to wait around until they flip that boat right over.
The states could manage it better than the feds. It's pretty apparent. And the reason they could is because the people have greater access to the politicians, to the people in power. In other words, it brings the power to the people just a little more, which is where the power needs to be. They work for us. They tend to forget that.
Those cows take that grass and those forbs and they turn that into a product that we can use. It's a simple thing to me, but for some reason it's been lost on the public. All these meadows that you drive by, those meadows weren't here naturally in the early 1800s. Those were developed by people and individuals that put their sweat and labor into those fields, and now the wildlife can use those. And if you abandon those, if you take those meadows, the meadow that I have, if I abandon that thing, in 10 years it would be nothing but willows and sage.
My son is the 5th generation out here, and we have more vested interest in maintaining this productively and efficiently than anybody else. A lot of times they think that we're just using it, it's just a financial gain, and it's not to us. It's everything to us. It's our lifestyle, it's our livelihood, it's where we go when we have days off. Every once in a while it would be nice to get a thank you for the cheeseburger rather than, let's make this more difficult for you.
This is 8 Ball. He's a wonderful horse. He's just a little bit crazy, kind of like his owner.
The closest neighbors can be hours away in Big Smoky Valley. Today, the Bergs are traveling to Dave Holgren's Rawhide Ranch to help gather and brand his wild longhorn cattle. Guaranteed to be an interesting day.
I'm 100 miles from town, so asking somebody to come out and help me is kind of a big deal sometimes. My cattle eat nothing but this desert environment, whatever plants grow here, so then the meat is exceptionally good for you.
Dave's longhorns are wild and unpredictable. Unlike most cattle, they spend their entire lives on hundreds of thousands of acres of open range. Gathering them will require a lot of riders and a lot of luck.
It's a big, wide open range, and it's a matter of sometimes necessity to help each other out.
Oh, you mean want me to hold him?
Just kidding. Oh no, it's all right.
The first order, find the scattered cattle. The cowboys will spread out to cover as much territory as possible. After nearly an hour, they finally spot some of the cattle. But these aren't your usual cows.
Them cattle are out in the open. They don't see people very often. They're more like they're similar to a wild animal. I mean, in a sense, they are.
As soon as they see and hear riders coming, they begin to scatter. Now the goal is to get the cattle turned and to begin herding them toward the ranch.
Bet you that's a bull.
It is, huh?
I'll go send Bo to go get him.
I wouldn't want to rope that brown bull.
You know what he'd do if you roped him?
Yeah, he'd come right back.
He'd come right back after you.
I know he would.
He'd be wanting to put them horns on you.
I know that.
There's a nice valley there. Go over that pass and right down the valley. We'll probably run into more cattle if we all think we got enough horse to hold them.
It don't take long to wear your horse down here.
Your 2 cows and your 3 calves went right up this road.
Yeah.
You guys okay? We're going to start these cattle after they're through, and we're going to go right over that pass, just so you know, and down that way, as opposed to going out that way. Just so you know that. Tell those guys. How many do you want in the front? Many as you can?
About twice as many as we got.
Okay. Yeah, we just keep them lined out and stay behind us, that's all.
I think we underestimated the cows yesterday, or a lot of us did. Dave didn't. Dave knows what his cows do. But we didn't think they'd run that hard, or that when you generally, if you get in front of the cows, they shut down pretty easy. They slow down and stop. Dave's cows, when you get in front of them, they just keep running unless you're really on top of them. But then there's a point where you realize, hey, I ain't stopping these cows. I mean, they're going to run no matter what. So you might as well save your horse and actually save the cow too, because the more you try to stop her, the harder she's going to run, and then it's bad for the cow too. You'll end up killing the cow, killing your horse, and defeating the whole purpose.
Most of them horses are used to that kind of terrain, and some of the riders were not exactly used to that.
Eventually, the riders start to come together, each with a few cattle. Not as many as they hoped. Some got away.
We did not get the number of cattle that the boss figured we should get. However, I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Had we got a huge number, we wouldn't have been able to cross that highway, because most of them cattle hadn't met across that highway. They've never crossed the highway before.
Having just crossed their first highway, the herd has to be pressed hard to enter the first corral many have ever seen. Even after a long journey and being corralled, bulls will be bulls. Having gone all day without water, the horses need a drink, as do most of the crew.
Everybody had a good time. Nobody got hurt. All the horses are good. They ain't lame. Got some good stuff to brand. Got a bull tied down up here. He was off alone, took off running, so Brian Bill roped him and tied him down. Now we can go in there and let him up and load him in the trailer and bring him down.
Where's that road at? I can go get that bull for you.
You see where it disappears? You gotta almost be to where it disappears.
After nearly an hour's drive, pulling that trailer over what barely passes as a road, Travis and Brian finally reached the bull.
Might not be able to pull him. Man, I need to sharpen my knife.
Now free, the situation could turn dangerous. A bull will often charge horse and rider.
You're free, boy.
But this bull looks too worn out to do what he'd like to do.
We'll get 2 ropes on his head when we get him by the trailer. Okay. Ha! You missed. I'll start going with him, then you just bring him up. All right, come on. Then wait for me, I'll help you pull. Okay, you ready? Okay, let's go. You got the gate or you got me to get the gate? I'll get it.
While the tired bull is now in the trailer, they need to move him to the front to make room for the horses. But the bull isn't cooperating.
Okay. When they're fresh, they get you every time. It's a dangerous job, and a lot of them are more wild than this one. I've seen people get gored. I've got my horse gored a few times. Everybody gets it. I mean, you mess with these kind of cows, you get it. But sooner or later, the time runs out. Yeah, but that's the life. Play, sometimes you pay. The cattle business is going bye-bye. There's the Bergs and probably one of the last big families that are running cattle. I mean, outside. The government's got everybody cut down so tight. When you see this country, it's full of feed.
While Travis and Brian were retrieving that last bull, branding had begun at the ranch. Branding full-grown longhorns is much different than branding calves. It's incredibly dangerous.
Well, I would think so.
Young and agile Isabel is playing an important role today, heating and delivering the hot irons. This time, she isn't taking any chances. She climbs the fence before they let up that huge and angry animal. It's a good thing. The bull is determined to get somebody, and now Dave is his target. This dangerous scenario repeats itself throughout the day as they continue to brand the wild and unpredictable cattle.
He's
looking for someone to blame.
Did you get a brand on this?
Yeah, a nice big angry one for a big angry bull.
It's too cold. Give me the 3, Bo.
You're getting your exercise.
I'm light on my feet. And I ain't related to Gordon Lightfoot either.
Watch out!
Right there, that spotted bull calf. White and red. I think he's the last.
Good job! Don't miss! Don't miss!
Don't make me get my rope. And if you're wondering if she goes by a decade, I am so brilliant I can tell which decade it is.
I ain't deer marker.
As the branding concludes, the bull captured by Travis and Brian is let out of the trailer to join the herd. But this day isn't over for the Bergs. They still have to load the horses and make the 2-hour trip home.
So I just came through to visit my parents and stay for a couple of months. And he was living in Tonopah at the time. And I ran into this tall, lean cowboy and thought, wow, that's it. I gathered all my pennies and went to the Mizpah because I couldn't afford to really gamble, but I wanted to be there in case he came in. So I was playing a penny slot machine and he made his move and that was the end of that. I drove through Tonopah, it was the middle of winter, and I thought, oh my God, what have I done to myself? Because I quit my job and everything just took off. And it was a total culture shock. You know, now I go to Reno for a couple of days, I'm ready to come home. It's too much.
We have no stoplights. The nearest Walmart's 175 miles away. That is kind of a pleasure itself. I have made it relatively fast to Fallon and back. Probably a little faster than I should, but I never, ever am a danger to other people. The way I feel about it, the quicker I get where I'm going, I get off the highway, it's a lot safer for people. Get me off the highway. That's cowboy logic.
We just aren't ones to just sit. We don't like to just sit. So we find things to do. So we are not only life partners, we are golf partners, horseshoe partners, pool partners. We're always going and doing something, and it's just great fun.
Not as good as this one's going to be.
Nice shot.
Good shot, short. Yeah! Ow! Yeah! What a wonderful attempt.
Good.
Don't miss, Shorty. Oh, damn the luck.
Yay, good shot, baby.
Thanks, Short. Same to you, bud.
An anonymous Big Smoky Valley resident brews batches of a powerful local moonshine. The Bergs occasionally feel compelled to test it.
Well, let's have a little nip.
Well, it's going to be a small one.
Yeah, well, you go first. Is it getting better? Or?
Well, don't breathe through your nose.
Holy Christ! No, breathe through your nose. I don't mind a little. Don't breathe through your nose. Just light a match. No, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have
to stop that.
We're gonna have to
right
get
away.
somebody else to make a little of that, I guess. You know.
We have to chase it with some whiskey.
You know, Russ rode with me for a lot of years, and like he said, there is no high that I get, no high any higher than hitting a bunch of wild cows. He said, I don't care what you smoke, what you take, women, you get shaken so goddamn bad. Like he said, there's no high. And I used to get a high, unbelievable high when I was younger.
Of course.
I don't get that high much anymore.
Well, you're thinking, damn, if this old horse... You're thinking if this horse falls, I'm going to hurt myself, and I'll be laid up for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think about those things, and when you were younger, you didn't think about that.
It's probably my age. I'm slower. If I catch something that's big and horned,
you might wait for something
son
to
of
come
a
heal it.
bitch, I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off
another
and tie
thing
that animal.
that I think your horses are getting old too. Anyway, I got to have a little sip of this.
Just
it happens.
I mean,
it does.
Kenny ended up with a broken leg right here in the field, and he said, "I hurt my leg." Okay, so what? And he couldn't.
That's about what he said. Well, so what?
he couldn't stand up, so I took my knife and I cut his pants leg up. And boy, the minute I cut them pants, I knew there was a broken leg because it was kind of hanging off to the side a little bit. Brought him home, and that leg started swelling so damn bad. I finally cut your boots.
Yeah, I had to cut.
I cut right down that
fairly
seam
good pair of boots, I might
Well,
add.
they probably were, but after I got through with them, they weren't very good.
So the way I see it, you kind of owe me a new pair of boots. But anyway.
Hell. We've had more fun in the last 40 years, probably. I wouldn't change my life for absolutely nothing or nobody's. As far as money, that's kind of beside
secondary,
the point.
Really,
Money's
secondary,
I want to have one more, just a small one.
I swear to God, you're tougher than I am. You're tougher than woodpecker lips.
Ken and Jim's mother, the family matriarch, now in her 90s, also lives on Jim's ranch. They still rely on her wisdom for many things, including her unique ability to predict the weather.
So what, is it going to rain or what?
No.
It's not.
It's not going to do nothing.
It's not going to do nothing.
The wind's going to blow.
The wind's going to blow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's Brother Jim. What do you know about that?
Hello, Jim. Well, don't muss my hair.
I would see how the top of her head is.
I'm telling you.
Well, at least I got my gut hair.
At least I got there, she says.
That's all we're going to have is wind and wind and wind.
Well, you've lived here long enough. That's all we've ever had is wind and wind and wind.
That's right.
That's why your hair's always messed up.
I know.
I'm not sure that the world is concerned about the policies that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but the West right now is being attacked by Washington.
They're controlled by the environmentalists, and they control the BLM, who put that regulation on us and puts us out of business. So I'd say they're regulations that shut us down, regulations that they shouldn't be able to enforce, which they can't enforce if the people would stand up.
Actually, we're environmentalists and we're conservationists simply because these guys have to be that. They have to be that themselves in order to keep their cattle going. You know, in order to produce a product, we're not going to damage anything that, it was like damaging your livelihood. Why would you do that?
We've had decades of harassment out here, and it seems to be coming to a head with everything happening within the state right now, which I think is necessary.
We just want to be left alone to do this and produce a product that's, you know, food.
For the birds, the valley is magical. If you get outside the valley, I don't know, you're not comfortable. Come back to the valley and you're just comfortable. Home sweet home. All the guys have stayed pretty much, and I don't know why. Everybody stays.
Oh, too much horsepower.
Anybody that leaves, it seems to draw them back. You just have to come back.
Good shoe, Ron.
I didn't really grow up with a close family, and Kenny's family just took me in. And the tradition, I was so happy to have that for my children.
I'm darn proud that the younger members of our family are carrying on our legacy of ranching. I was reminded of our long history in this valley when I was at the cemetery the other day.
This is Will Berg. This is my grandfather, William Berg. Oh, Lord. This is Will Berg's sister, Katie, and my brothers and I, Roger and Jim, we hand dug this grave. And we had a bottle of whiskey, and believe me, the digging was, you know, it started out really hard and tough, but the more whiskey we drank, it seemed to get progressively easier. Yeah, my father died at a very young age, you know, very, very young. I was 7 or 8 or so. I don't really remember him all that well. Of course, my older brother Jim would remember him better, and he worked with him on the ranch a lot, you know, and was there when he died. He had a heart attack, but I think he was around 40 or thereabouts. So, yeah, good Lord. At one point, over by herself.
Willie Berg, not yet born, someday stand right here,
Good Lord.
looking at my stone and reminisce. Will this next generation of Bergs still enjoy the freedoms I've known? Our way of life is fading across the West. If ranching is to continue, the average American needs to know who we are and hear the stories we have to tell.